Well, I hope you had a Merry Christmas and it's the early hours of Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, and I hope all of you had a wonderful Christmas and got presents, and food, and all that. So I thought I'd do something a little different. Tier list of movies over the past 5 years. So this is going back to 2020. So I put in the categories um, for all best of the year. So this is like a single film that was like my favorite one of the year, worst of the year, self-explanatory, and then I have most disappointing and surprise, surprise. So surprise, surprise, this movies that I was actually shocked or kind of going, okay, these are decent. Most disappointing would be um, films that I anticipated to watch and end up falling flat. So let's start off in the year 2020. So this is 5 years ago. This is during the sickness year. Everyone remembers that. In fact, I remember February. I think it was February where me and my wife saw Bad Boys for Life, and that was the last theatrical movie we saw for a while because of the lockdowns and everything. So let's go ahead and jump into these films. So, Skylines, the third film in the Skyline series, basically about alien invasion. Um, let's see. The third one. Hmm, I'm gonna put in surprise, surprise. All three I like. They are cheesy. Um, a little bit dated, especially if you go back to the first film. However, I do like the premise. I do like the characters in it. I think, alien invasion type of movies have been done to death, but I think the Skyline trilogy so far, I think they're making a fourth one, are decent enough and entertaining enough. Um, and if I remember correctly, there is a cliffhanger at the end of the third film, setting up a fourth film. But I could be wrong because I haven't watched it in a long time. But yeah, that was a surprise for me. Greenland, the Gerard Butler disaster movie. Um, and these are all films I'm looking back on and watching. And I haven't picked all the films that year, but these are standout films I have picked in these lists, by the way. Otherwise, we'd be here all day. Um, Greenland. Uh, I'm gonna put in surprise, surprise. It was fine. The concept of like this weather controlling device and goes all haywire, I thought was an interesting concept for a disaster film. It's not the perfect film or nothing like that, but it was entertaining enough. And Gerard Butler is Gerard Butler. The guy sang in Phantom of the Opera, so in that film. So way back in 2011, something like that. But the film's okay for a disaster film. Most disappointing is The Gentleman, the Guy Ritchie film. I thought this movie was boring. It had a really good cast. It just didn't hold up for me. I was like falling asleep through most of it. Um, I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Uh, I can't honestly tell you the whole entire premise of the film, but if I recall, Hugh, um, what's his actor's name? Damn it, um, Hugh Grant was the main antagonist, I think. But yeah, it's trash. Um, hmm, underwater. And I'm comparing these to other films for best and worst of the year because there's only going to be one film in those categories. Honestly, Underwater was the best of that year. I enjoyed the film. Um, I don't think it made a lot of money, but I absolutely loved the performances in it. It's your typical cliche, you know, underwater monster deal, but I love some of the shots and some of the suspenseful moments in it. Um, the main actress there from Twilight, what the hell's her name? It eludes me, of course. I apologize, but I thought she was good in the film, and Miller, the actor Miller from the Deadpool 1 and 2, he's in this film as well. He's kind of the humor guy, but I thought like the sets were cool. I thought like I said, the suspense parts were cool. Concepts. I really liked it. I thought it was a solid monster film, and that doesn't come around too often for me. And Underwater, I thought was the most entertaining, enjoyable film of the year, in my opinion. And there's another candidate on this list, but I think Underwater, for me personally, that year was my pick. Bill and Ted Face the Music. Yeah, that's going in most disappointing. It was nice to have Keanu Reeves back for his role in Bill and Ted, but the film just felt like a shoe in. It didn't feel like much thought was put in it, honestly. It's a film that honestly didn't need to be made. Um, in fact, like a lot of it I've forgotten about because I was so like eye rolling throughout the whole film. It was cool that they got the two actors back. You know, kudos to them for trying to do a third film after all these years, but didn't land for me. And the first film is the best, and the second film has moments, but the third film just is kind of like, why did you make this? Unfortunately, Tenant, I'm putting in most disappointing. It's a weird film. I had to watch it like maybe three times to kind of like try and grasp the concepts and everything, but it was just, it wasn't like Inception. Inception was way better. Tenet just tried to be Inception too in a way, and with this weird concept, and didn't work. Didn't work for me. Uh, so I think I tried to watch it like a year ago, but I couldn't really get into it. It's just one of those films that, sure, it has neat effects and all, but ultimately it's not a film that I really care to revisit. And I mean, even some of the action was like humdrum. So a film like that, I'd rather watch Inception because it was a way better film. Onward is an animated film. Really cool. I was surprised because it is a Disney animated film at the time, and I like the concept. I like the characters. I like the voice work. The animation was really good. Um, the yeah, there were two brothers, right? And I really the yeah, it's just a really fun movie. I recommend it actually. If you want to throw an animated film on, um, yeah, try not to spoil things as I'm doing these films here. But yeah, that one was good. That one was good. Uh, Doolittle sucked. It's not the worst film of the year, but Doolittle sucked. Doolittle with Robert Downey Jr. He couldn't save that film. It was boring. It was like they take a character and they kind of dumb him down a little there, and I didn't like it. I thought it was very boring and stupid. The animals that talk, whatever, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I like was waiting for the film to end. Birds of Prey, terrible film. Uh, I expected more of it. It ended up almost feeling in parts like Batman and Robin, but at least with Batman and Robin, you can laugh at it with all the silliness, and it didn't take itself seriously. I mean, Birds of Prey kind of tried to do that too, but it failed on all levels. It could have been so cool of a movie, and it wasn't. Another DC piece of shit film, in my opinion. Bad Boys for Life, very good film. I mean, I like all the Bad Boys movies, so you're not going to get complaints from me from there. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, I mean, they're good characters on the screen and everything, and I enjoyed it. Like the action, the story was interesting. In fact, I think Bad Boys 3 and then Bad Boys 4, which I'll talk about later, I like the stories better in those two than the first two, even though the first two, are still good. But I kind of like more of the sort of character building in the last two. So it's funny how that works. One Wonder Woman 84 is the worst movie of that year of 2020. I thought it was dog shit. Like the concepts, the plot devices. You have Pedro Pascal playing like the villain Maxwell Lord, I think. It was just awful. Nothing about this film was any good. I'd rather watch Birds of Prey over this. Yeah, that's how bad Wonder Woman 84 was. It's a very forgettable film, especially after the very good first Wonder Woman film that I enjoyed a lot. And Gal Gadot, I think, has done some really good Wonder Woman, but the script here sucks in 84. And even the action is just silly. So it's the worst of the year for me. And Sonic the Hedgehog, there, I was really surprised with this first one. This is actually the best video game series and bunch of video game movies that ever came out, which I'm going to talk about later with the subsequent years. So that's the list for 2020. Best of the year is Underwater. Worst is Wonder Woman 84. Now we go to 2021. Um, I'm just scanning through these here. Wow, there's a lot of shitty ones here. I'm just seeing if I could pick out the best and the worst right off the bat. Um, I have my list on the side you can't see. Wow. No Time to Die. Worst of the year. Best of the year. Um, oh, that's a no-brainer. Ghostbusters Afterlife. Awesome. There's a lot of bad movies this year, so let's quickly go through these because I got a couple more years to do. Okay, first of all, I'm going to talk about the best, and then I'm going to talk about the worst, and then we'll go through the rest of these. So, Ghostbusters Afterlife was not only surprising, I really enjoyed the hell out of it, but I loved the story that connects kind of to Ghostbusters 2, forgetting that horrible 2016 piece of shit Ghostbusters movie there. And they brought back, obviously, OG characters, but I like the connection with the old, uh, firehouse and everything. And it really, what really, one of the things that made it really awesome was the connection with Harold Ramis, who unfortunately passed away. But they do wonderful things with his character. The effects are good, the humor is good. I love the concepts. Connecting with old stuff, but they do it in a way where it's like it doesn't feel like oh, just nostalgia bait. You know what I mean? Like for me, it fits to how they put things in. And honestly, the weakest point in this movie, in Ghostbusters Afterlife, was the Stranger Things kid. I thought he was actually the weakest character. However, I thought the rest of the cast was great. Paul Rudd is great. Awesome. Like Ghostbusters 1, 2, 4, and the last one, Frozen Empire, which I know a lot of people didn't like. I enjoy, but we'll get to that. 007's No Time to Die, I thought was a piece of fucking shit, especially for a final Daniel Craig film and the way that movie carried itself out. I hated it. It's Skyfall, honestly, should have been the final Daniel Craig film, in my opinion. Spectre was okay, but all in all, I think Skyfall should have been. Yeah, you ended there. Awesome. No Time to Die just basically like took the Bond character and just said, fuck you. That's how I felt about the film after all the other Daniel Craig films, which, are entertaining, even Spectre. Hated it. So that's why it's in the worst of the year. All right, so The King's Man. I'm going to put in surprise surprises. The prequel to the Kingsman films. I was surprised by it and how it incorporated much of the entertainment in the first Kingsman movies. Um, and it's kind of yeah, it's a prequel to basically how the Kingsman started in a way. That's good. I thought I was surprised because usually prequels are kind of meh, but this one was solid. King Richard with Will Smith, good drama film about the Williams sisters and tennis. And I'm not a tennis follower or anything, but I thought this film was really good. You got John Berthenol, however you pronounce his name, from The Walking Dead fame. He's in this. Very good. Um, but Will Smith carries the film, but also the rest of the cast does too. Will Smith's like the big star, but the other actors do a phenomenal job, and it's a solid film. I was surprised by it. Matrix Revelations, come on, or whatever the hell the fourth one was. It Revelations, Resurrections, Resur- Revelations was the third one, wasn't it? Huh. But Matrix Resurrections, why the fuck was this film made? Seriously, it's like, yeah, No Time to Die is the worst film of the year, and I have reasons for it, but Matrix Resurrections is pretty close. Should not have been made. Cool, Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ann Moss come back, but like, the movie made no sense. The ending of the third Matrix movie wrapped things up, even though I'm not a fan of the two and three. It wrapped things up. They didn't need a fourth one. It was just made to make money, and it really didn't. So, yeah. Welcome to Raccoon City. I'm not shocked that it was a shit movie because Resident Evil movies' track record, at least for me, except the animated ones, have been all dismal. And what's sad is that there's content there to make a fun Resident Evil bunch of films. Zombies, action, the video game lore is set up for it to be a live action romp, entertainment romp, and yet for me personally, they can't do it. And Welcome to Raccoon City actually makes me want to watch the Mila Jovovich ones. That's how bad Welcome to Raccoon City was for me. Terrible. Where I mean, they tried to like bring the first two games together, but it's total mess. And the characters are ass. Didn't care for it. The only cool part in that whole movie was the liquor scene. That's it. All right, Free Guy, very funny movie. Ryan Reynolds makes fun of the video game world. Um, cool enough story, solid film, entertaining. Go watch it. It's it, it's close to being best of the year, but Ghostbusters wins. Ghostbusters Afterlife wins, just because like I like it really surprised me and stuff. Free Guy is very good though. Red Notice is the same like Welcome to Raccoon City trash. It's but here in Red Notice it's got Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, and Gal Gadot. You would think that would be a hit, but it was boring. It was stupid. The ending makes things even worse. It was a waste of a Netflix film. So, uh, said Halloween Kills. Yeah, Halloween Kills is crap. The film before Halloween was parts of it were watchable, but this trilogy of Halloween films didn't do it for me when it could have worked so well with the concept of erasing everything beyond the first film, or after the first film, I should say. Um, what happened with Michael after the ending? and I thought that was cool the way they did that in the first film, Halloween. But Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends we'll get to, total shit. Like, I'm sorry, but it's not a Halloween film. I would rather watch Halloween 5 and 6 over Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. That's all I'm going to say about that. Pig with Nicolas Cage was a surprise. It's a one watch film, honestly, but still not bad. Uh, I didn't think much going into it, but it was a slow paced burn, but yeah, it worked. But it is a one watch film in my opinion. Uh, that's all I'll say about that. Old, the M. Night Shyamalan film. I actually liked it. I'd go back and watch it. I know some of the CG in it is not great, but I like the concept of these characters stuck in this part of like this beach area and they're getting older, uh, and just kind of like, all that stuff. I thought it was an interesting concept for a horror film. Yeah, there are parts that are kind of meh, but overall, I liked it. I was surprised. Spendables 4 sucks. It was good that they ended that franchise. They had like Jason Statham running the show with this one, but like it didn't feel the same. They had some of the same actors coming back, but the first three films are the best, and this one felt like a uh, forced fourth film. It didn't feel like a part of the franchise, and it's a shame. Um, yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League. That one is going in surprise, surprise, because the theatrical release pissed me off. And then when I saw Zack Snyder's Justice League, I loved it because it's 4 hours, but it's so many concepts and so many character builds in that film. And it is probably one of my outside of Man of Steel. It's like the best Snyder movie that came out in the DCU. Now, I'm not a huge Snyder fan of the universe, but I thought that this Zack Snyder's Justice League was solid. The Dark Side, the do you see the Zod, all that kind of stuff. It's a shame that other than this and Man of Steel, the rest of the movies were shit, but that is what it is. Till Death with Megan Fox was a surprise for me. She's handcuffed to a corpse, essentially, and it's kind of her having to deal with that. One watch film, certainly, but entertaining enough as a thriller, I'm going to say. Coming to America. I'm going to have to put that in most disappointing. However, I didn't like it. I did like it. It's just that the sequel to one of Eddie Murphy's, like most, well, personally for me, most watched films, could have been better. I like that they got back the same cast. The plot was interesting. It's just the whole son thing. I don't know. So that's probably, I guess I would put in the most disappointing because I thought it could have been better than it was. I really love Wesley Snipes in it. He was probably like my favorite part of the whole thing. Quiet Place 2. Let's going in surprise, surprise. That wasn't honestly not a surprise. It was really good. I enjoyed it. There was a good sequel to the first film, and heard they're making another one. As long as they're entertaining and good, and they keep like the suspense and thrills in there, they can make another one. Um, yeah, Shang-Chi, terrible film. I didn't like anything about it. I found the characters annoying, specifically the girl, the one actress. I found her role so annoying. It it should have been cool with the concepts and everything, but in the end, it wasn't. It was another Marvel film that got a meh rating from me personally, and Marvel films should be better than meh. Spider-Man. Which one was that? Spider-Man. No Way Home. I like the Spider-Mans. I really like the Tom Holland Spider-Mans. I think they're all solid entertainment, and they're the few that's a rare bright spot in the MCU for me personally, where a lot of the mainstream MCU films are shit. But Spider-Man rocks. I like it a lot. I think they're entertaining, and like I said, Tom Holland knocks it out of the park. Black Widow is another piece of trash. Why they could have made a really cool Black Widow movie, and it's not even Scarlett Johansson's fucking movie. It's her sister, mainly about her. I don't care about her. I want to see Scarlett Johansson. She was cast as Black Widow. She's perfect as Black Widow, and I think she's gonna go down as the great casting of Black Widow, in my opinion. But this movie, the standalone, sucks. I didn't like the characters. The plot was stupid when they could have, like, I don't know, made it more interesting. But that's that. So, Ghostbusters Afterlife for 2021 is the best movie. No Time to Die, worst movie. And we go to 2022. Top Gun Maverick is best of the year. Um, worst of the year. Um, it's gonna, yeah, definitely. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is the worst of that year, 2022. So Top Gun Maverick, awesome movie. Tom Cruise, I mean, he's the only real actor, in my personal opinion, that brings every role. Not every movie he does is like Dino Supreme, but I think he brings the excitement, he brings the entertainment, he brings the character alive, and doing a sequel of one of the biggest films of all time is a tall order. But I think Top Gun Maverick, in some ways, surpasses the first one. But I'm definitely remembering that first one as being awesome too. So I heard they're making a third one to kind of like finish it off as a trilogy. Hey, I'm all for it. Top Gun Maverick is solid film. Doctor Strange, uh, Multiverse of Madness is the Marvel film that really broke my back for being shit movies in the MCU. It's honestly the last film that in the main timeline, I believe I anticipated to watch outside of Deadpool and Spider Man. and disappointed. It was a Wanda film. Yeah, the plot was horrendous. The characters you didn't give a shit about, and the fact that and I'm not going to spoil it. There's like a sequence in here that has some other characters in there that stuff goes on, and I'm like, "Ah, I'm done. I'm done. The multiverse thing in the MCU is trash, and they constantly used it, and they're even still using it now in the stupid Doomsday thing. Like, fuck off. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Black Adam sucked. Uh, Initially, when I watched Black Adam, I thought it was fine, but and I watched it like second time, third time, and each time I watched it, it was like, no. It, Dwayne Johnson tried. I mean, he's cool as Black Adam, but the rest of the film just doesn't work. Um, the graphics even today are not good. Pierce Brosnan is Doctor Fate, sure, um, but to try and hang on to the Snyderverse with this film, just I don't know if it's really part of it or not. It felt like its own movie to be honest, but like that was the last kick of the can for trying to bring Henry Cavill back as Superman, which I was excited about. And there is a cameo of him in it, but then it went nowhere. And again, I believe that Warner Bros. Fucked over Henry Cavill with a Superman role. He got one good movie, and kind of, with the Justice League, kind of was there. But ultimately, Batman vs Superman was trash. But yeah, Black Adam is forgettable. So, and let's see here. Halloween Ends is crap. Uh, like Halloween Kills, no. Uh, Started off with a okay movie, the first one, and then got worse after that. That's all I'm going to say about it. Spirited was a surprise for me because I'm not a musical lover, but Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell do a really good job in this comedy, and this plot is really good, and there's a lot of humorous moments, and I watch it. I watched it this year. Uh, I think it's a great film. Um, there it is a musical. Just be warned about that, but it doesn't bother me because the dynamic between Reynolds and Farrell is fantastic, and along with all the other actors that are around them. And I think it's good. So, Barbarian was disappointing. Everybody was talking about Barbarian, and I watched it, and it didn't like the ending at all. Um, Concept was okay, but execution will really by the end it just is like this is it. Like this is what people were raving about, and I didn't think it was all that great. So, Prey, the Predator film, awesome. Um, so I believe this was the first Predator film since The Predator, which was garbage. But Prey goes back in time to a period where, you know, obviously they don't have technology and all that, and it's different. And I thought it was great. I thought it was suspenseful. The effects are awesome. An awesome movie to bring the Predator back into the kind of rated R mode. Um, Go watch it. It's if you like Predator films and you have not seen that, go watch Prey. Chip and Dale, the Rescue Rangers. I was surprised by this one. Pardon me. My nose has to run, of course. But Chip and Dale, I was surprised me because it was funny. It was kind of like show how the two of them met. Um, they bring back like the cast of the animated Rescue Rangers. If anyone's seen it, I thought it was cute. Um, Surprise, surprise. Oh, which one's that? Sometimes the posters are small. Uh, oh, that's Ambulance, the Michael Bay film. It's an actioner, Michael Bay style. You're gonna get explosions. You're gonna get explosions. You're gonna get explosions. And Ambulance is a typical Michael Bay film. There's not much more to say about it. If you don't mind a mindless action, Ambulance is it. The Lost City, the Sandra Bullock Tatum film, was disappointing. Brad Pitt makes a cameo in it, and I thought he was the best part of the film. The adventure style I thought was going to be good, and parts of it are there, but ultimately it fails. It's a one watch film. Sandra Bullock looks great. She's always looked great, but mm, didn't work for me. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, again, a great series. First one was great, second one was great. Um, and honestly, the best video game series that's come out, or a bunch of video game movies, because it it has enough of a concept to connect to the games, but it's its own thing. And Jim Carrey as a Robotnik, I mean, it's a perfect role for him. He does it great. So Uncharted, I liked. A lot of people didn't like Uncharted based off of the video game. It's not perfect. I think Tom Holland as Drake is an interesting casting, but not perfect. And I think Mark Wahlberg as Sully, I think that's his name, Sully, was a weird casting choice. I admit that. But for a venture film, I think it's entertaining enough to be watchable. The villains are garbage. Yes, they are garbage. I will say that. They're brainless. Um, their story concept and some plot is interesting, but for an adventure film like this, it's watchable. Thor: Love and Thunder, my God, I was forced to watch this movie because we had a family get together and they put it on. It sucks. It sucks. It's mindless. It's you don't care what happens to Thor, honestly. After Ragnarok was so good, and they come out with this fucking piece of shit. Yeah, sucks. You do see his ass in that one. So we like Hemsworth's ass. You'll get in that film. I'll say that. What's this one here? Jurassic World Dominion was disappointing. Parts were entertaining. It was cool they had the old cast come back mixed with the new cast. Like, I mean, the old cast from Jurassic Park. But it didn't save the movie, really. It was there. Honestly, they got to stop making these fucking things because the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World thing is just cash cow for them. No plot. It's like watching a VOD video on demand film of dinosaurs in movies. It's gone to that point with this franchise now, and I'm just sick and tired of it. They've gotten away from what made it cool. Like, I like the first Jurassic Park. I like Jurassic World and kind of connection between the two. But that's honestly it from all these films. They've just gotten progressively worse. I still think Jurassic Park 3 is the worst of all of them, but funny. Funny. But anyway, what's this one? The Other Project with Ryan Reynolds. Sci-fi comedy. Um, I thought it was fun. Um, Let me think. I watched it like once, but I did enjoy it. I thought I'd watch it again. I think they're making a sequel, but we'll see. I think it deserves one because they leave it open. Um, and I know why I'm waving my handkerchief around, but there you go. Moonfall. Moonfall was okay. Disaster film. Halle Berry. Cool. It's like Greenland. Yeah, throw it on. Have a good time. The Batman, Robert Pattinson's first entrance into playing the character. Don't like his Bruce Wayne. He's decent as Batman. I really love the Riddler in it. I think the gnarly concept of and creepiness of the Riddler in this iteration of the Batman was solid. It was fine. It was a fine Batman film. I like the whole detective element that they put into it rather than he's just kicking ass. I mean, actually, to think about it, there's like maybe two, three big set action pieces. I think remembering it right. There's a car chase with the penguin. There's the kind of finality fight sequence on top of this part. And then it's kind of like where he beats up a bunch of thugs in the beginning. But all in all, it's fine. Not the best Batman film, but it's fine. It's watchable. I like the actor. I think Colin Farrell played the Penguin. You barely recognize him in it, and then the makeup. That was cool. And we got Avatar. Is it Fire and Ash? Or is that the new one? Oh, come on. Way of the Water. Yeah, Fire and Ash is the new one. Um, I liked the second Avatar way better than the first Avatar because I thought that the second Avatar was building more on character development with all these Na'vi and stuff. First one, I wasn't a huge fan of. Obviously, the spectacle of these films is like crazy, colorful, pretty to look at, but I thought the first Avatar was kind of. I didn't care for the humans. The Na'vi were there, but this second one, it had a lot more um, meat to it for me for what's going on and the concepts. Um, so that is where are we at here? That is 2022. Best film of the year, Top Gun Maverick, worst film of the year. Um, Doctor Strange, multi shit of madness. Let's move on. So we're on 2023. Okay. Best movie of the year. This year was tough. Hmm. Well, oh, that wasn't Expendables 4. That's the one. Oh, that's Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. I'm sorry. I must have the similar poster palette. See this? Kind of orange. Yeah, that's right. So my mistake. Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Where on my mouse here? I thought that was Expendables 4. I apologize, but that's still that Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard goes the most disappointing still because compared to the first film, which was really funny and comical and action based, the second one uh, fell apart. It was boring, honestly, and Ryan Reynolds couldn't save it. So, um, Expendables 4, I'm just going to put in most disappointing because I already talked about it. As I mentioned, it didn't feel like an Expendables film, and yeah, so I don't need to talk about it again. All right, best film of the year, 2023. This is tough. You know what? I'm putting Saw 10 as best of the year for that year, and I'll tell you why. Worst film of the year. Hmm. You know what? Yeah, I gotta put Dial of Destiny as worst film of the year. Yeah. So Saw 10, the reason I put it up as best film of the year for me that year was honestly there wasn't a lot that year that was just knock out of the park. But Saw 10 compared to all the other Saws minus the first one were mindless traps and they tried to weave characters into all these movies, which I thought was cool concept. But ultimately, for me, the Saw 2 onward up to Saw 10 just were cash grabs of movies. Spiral sucked with Chris Rock and Samuel Jackson, and yeah. But Saw 10, I love how they focus on Jigsaw, but they kind of like you see more to his side of things, kind of in this one. Not that it's right in what he's doing and all that, but like that was pretty cool. And the people that he gathers eventually, not the greatest of characters, but I don't know. Saw 10 for me was kind of like entertaining. It was interesting. The traps definitely were gory, one in particular. Um, but yeah, out of all the films that year for 2023, we're at now, Saw 10 makes the top of the list for me. And Indiana Jones style Destiny, I mean, come on. That was a garbage ass movie. and Harrison Ford's last movie as the title character. I mean, fuck. Why? And what's interesting is the first like 15, 20 minutes were the best part of the film. They were very interesting. Yeah, they de-aged Indy, but I thought it was interesting. And then the rest of the film after that was like, what the hell? They what pisses me off the most is that they do this with like especially Disney. They take characters that are heroes and all that and were set up well in previous movies and they turn them into these somber, sad sacks of a character that don't deserve that. They deserve so much better. Like as bad as the fourth film was, the fucking skull, crystal skull. Is that what it was called? As bad as that movie was, at least it had a happy ending. It was like a great ending. It worked, despite everything leading up to that. Then they strip all that out and give you this shit. So, no, thank you. So, Dial Destiny could go jump in a lake and drown. All right, Old Dads with Bill Burr. I think that's his name, Bill Burr. Funny movie, and I was surprised that I liked this movie. Um, Basically, like old mentality of adults, of course, into being integrated into the modern society. That's basically what this film is, but it was hilarious. It's on Netflix, I believe, still. Check it out. If you like Bill Burr, check it out. Uh, Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving slasher film. Um, I thought was very entertaining. I really like the killer look of the pioneer. I guess he's a pioneer with an axe and a mask and all that. There was some crazy kills. Um, the reveal, of course, is poorly done of who the killer is, but um, it was an entertaining film, and I liked it more than I thought it would. So, the Meg 2, The Trench. I love the Meg movies. I don't care what anyone says. I think they're fun, entertaining shark movies. Jason Statham, badass. Um, but I really like the first two, and I hope they come out with a third one. All the characters around Jason Statham are cool. Actually, they give him enough backstory to you know like them. There's no annoying characters in my opinion. The action is cool. The CG's tolerable. It's not terrible. Um, and I like the concept of things below like a barrier. So it's essentially where these like both movies kind of connect sort of in this underwater area that contains kind of prehistoric creature well, like fish life and all that. And Megalodon, of course, is one of those. But yeah, I love the Megs. The two Meg movies are entertaining for me. Oppenheimer's boring. And here's the thing. I can watch slow burn dramas that are really good. Amadeus, Forrest Gump, although Forrest Gump has some action, I guess, in it, but I can watch a slow burn drama and be entertained. Oppenheimer, the concept is there, but I felt it was just so, let's go. Like, the pacing sucks in the film. And it really like, yeah, it was one of the films I turned off because I was so damn bored. Like halfway through the film, I turned it off. I mean, I don't, yeah, I haven't watched it all, and I don't want to. I don't want to relive that humdrum snooze fest of a film. It's unfortunate. It's got good actors in it, but yeah, didn't keep me awake. Insidious: The Red Door was a disappointing fifth film in the entry, uh, and while interesting with it being taking place sometime after the events of the previous films, this is actually a sequel to Insidious 2. Um, it was interesting in that concept, but I didn't care for how they executed it. Uh, and the villain in it, mm, leave it at that. John Wick 4, fantastic franchise. Uh, choreography is amazing in all four films. Keanu Reeves, I mean, the guy's a trooper for doing all the stunts and everything, man. And I think, my personal opinion, that should be it. We don't need a fifth or sixth one. If Ballerina, the John Wick spinoff with that character, if they make movies with her, I'm down. But I think John Wick's four films work, and leave it at that. Uh, what's that term? Quit while you're ahead. Cocaine Bear was a stupid film, but it knew it. It was funny, but ultimately a one watch film. Felt I don't know if it was in the theater or not, but it definitely felt like a video on demand film. It was dumb, kooky, but like I said, at least it didn't take itself seriously. It's just one of those films where you like throw on to be curious, right? Renfield, I was surprised by Nicolas Cage playing Dracula. I can't remember the actor that plays Renfield, but he's been in a lot of stuff. Yeah, it was a solid film. It was funny. It was interesting. Um, Nicolas Cage, I mean, the guy can play anything. He's been in so many movies, and even his crappy ones, like he's given it his all, and you gotta respect that. Um, Renfield was fun. If you like vampire comedy, and there's gore in it for sure. Check this one out. Um, not sure if it's on Netflix or not. Barbie, not my type of movie that I watch, but I was curious. I will say, I guess the first half where they're in Barbie land, all right, entertaining. Right when they go into reality, the movie lost me. It became that typical trash. We got to bring reality into fictional world. I always hated when they do that. I hated it with King Kong. I hated it with Tron Ares. Uh, it's stupid when they do that. I don't go to the theater to watch reality. I go watch that fantastical world. So, first half of Barbie was entertaining enough, and again, it's not a film for me per se, but I was curious. I think Margaret Robbie does a great job as Barbie. Was it guy played Ken? The hell, yeah, anyway, that's my thought on Barbie. So the last one is Super Mario Brothers movie. I was disappointed with this one, the animated Mario Brothers. It felt like it wasn't a full Mario movie to me. There are moments there that are entertaining, but it didn't last with me personally. The animation's good, the voice works good, but yeah, yeah. So where are we at here? 2021. So 2023 saw 10's best of the year, oddly, and Destiny's worst of the year. Okay, so we're moving on up. 2024. I'll try and quicken this up a little bit. Best of the year is Deadpool versus Wolverine. I don't even have to think about that one. Worst of the year. Hmm. Long legs for me personally. Deadpool and Wolverine was a fantastic third movie in the trilogy. Hugh Jackman coming back to play Wolverine is fantastic. It was funny. The actions was great. Concepts were cool. Cameos were awesome. Overall, great movie. And it wraps a good bow on the Deadpool trilogy. If Ryan Reynolds is never doing another Deadpool movie again, which I think is fine. Uh, love the movie. I've watched it like so many times already. Long Legs. The reason that I put it in worst of the year is because it really disappointed me. I thought, like, because people were, again, it was like Barbarian. People were hyping it up and it's scary and all this kind of shit, right? Now, Nicolas Cage is good as the creepy guy, but it was so boring. Um, I found the pacing was really like not as bad as Oppenheimer, but almost at that level. And then the ending was so I don't know, are really disappointing, I guess. And all this time, I thought it was kind of going to be like a Silence of the Hill, Silence of the Lambs. I was going to say Silence of the Hill. I don't know why, but it's kind of like a Silence of the Lamb kind of movie with investigation and stuff like that. But it ended up being boring, and I didn't care for the cop characters. They were there. I don't know, just didn't do it for me. I think that's why it's worst of the year for me that year because I anticipated it and I wanted to see it and then it just dropped the ball. All right, Nosferatu, that's going in most disappointing. I was thinking about putting it in worst of the year, but Nosferatu does have awesome visuals. Bill Skarsgård is awesome as the vampire, like the voice and everything. I hated the makeup on him when he's revealed, though. It looks so dumb when he's finally revealed. Like, they got the body, but the face, no, no. Um, there are creepy elements in the film, but the pacing is slow, and it just felt like as the movie was going along, it broke apart. Uh, at least for me. Oh, why does this have to do this during filming? Okay, we've come too far. We can't stop now. But yeah, Nosferatu was a disappointing film for me. I thought it would be way better than it was, and I mean it's not terrible. It's watchable, and I know people like it, but for me, it was like, ah, could have been better. Speaking of vampire movies, Salmon's Lot, I love it. A lot of people hate it, the remake of Salmon's Lot, but I loved it. I loved the way they do the vampires in the film, and how the cross lights up whenever they're near, and um, the characters, and some of the build up, and all that kind of stuff. I thought was cool. It's not the perfect movie, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Comparing it to the original, you can't, because the original was done at a time when it didn't have CG, when it had just makeup and everything. Me personally, I tried to go back and watch the original. It's I can't. The vampire look is cool for the original design of what's his name? What's the vampire's name? Ugh. Okay, we'll call him Bleh. Um, but the design in the old one was cool, but the acting, I can't get by the acting. It just than the original. If the acting was better, maybe, but it was so hammy. But the remake of Sabaton, I really liked it. I like the characters. Forlock, is it Forlock, the vampire's name? Something like that. But yeah, that was a surprise for me. I like it. Alien Romulus was another surprise. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a really good kind of comeback for the Alien franchise. The plot isn't the most original, but I like how it takes place between Alien and Aliens. It kind of sets that up uh, really cool. Um, the characters were fine. There are a lot of good suspenseful moments in there. They really bring back the xenomorph as like this creature that's scary. I love how they made it like a horror movie rather than just a waste of time. Uh, Alien Romulus, I enjoyed it. All right, Red One with The Rock or Dwayne Johnson, I thought was watchable Christmas movie. He's got to save Santa. Um, the graphics in it are terrible, uh, and I didn't care for the result. So Axel F, really good movie, really good fourth Beverly Hills Cop movie. Funny. I love how they brought back former actors from the first two films. Uh, and the only thing that, that they always seem to do is bring in a pissed off woman character because you have to have one of those in your films now. Like, other than that, Axel F was great. Funny, action was good. It's way better than the third film for sure. So, Bad Boys Ride or Die. The Bad Boys films for me are entertaining, funny. They're not perfect, all of them, but they work for me. And Will Smith and Lawrence together, they work. So, Abigail, the vampire movie. It's like three vampire movies this year. I was surprised by it. Um, I don't like the ending of it, um, but everything up to that point with the characters and the concept I thought was cool. Um, they give enough kind of background story in lazy ways, but enough there to kind of care for the characters, except for one. Um, so Abigail was a surprise. Mm, poster is that? No, that's Frozen Empire. Okay. So Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. I enjoyed it. Um, not as good as Afterlife. Uh, I didn't like the dynamic with the girl ghost and the main actress, or the main girl character. I thought that was shit. Other than that, I enjoyed Frozen Empire. I liked the villain. I like how they actually incorporated Dan Aykroyd in this one a little more. The addition of the new character. Uh, yeah, it was not as good as Afterlife, but still, I'd watch it. It's solid. So, Imaginary sucked. The concept was interesting, where there's a bear that is doing its thing, and the mother and the kid move into this place, and all that starts to happen. The worst part about Imaginary was the one character basically exposition dumps everything in the one scene, ruining the movie, in my opinion. But outside of that, the movie isn't that great. Like the concept, wasn't executed properly. I'll leave it at that. Abigail, the Henry Cavill movie. Let's make sure I get this poster right. Yeah, Argyle. Did I say Abigail? So Argyle. Uh, yeah, Henry Cavill was probably the best part of this movie, but the rest of it is waste of time. I watched it once, wasn't a fan, so Argyle disappears, in my opinion. Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal, I thought was solid. I like how they didn't totally remake it. It's in the bar, but they take it out of the bar, and you're gonna have your macho, action sequences there. But I thought it was fine. Yeah, you want a macho beat the hell out of each other kind of movie. Roadhouse, I wouldn't even call it a remake. I'd call it just Roadhouse. Works. Love Twisters. In fact, I best of the year, pretty close for me between Twisters and Deadpool and Wolverine. But Deadpool and Wolverine, this was great. But Twisters, I've watched that a bunch of times since then, and I really both Twister and Twisters. I like how they're separated, but there's only really one thing that connects them both, and I like actually elements in Twisters over the original Twister, but the original Twister has elements that I like over the new Twisters. But both are great tornado movies. Characters are fun, and the effects are really good. So, all right. Beetlejuice was so disappointing. Because it sets up his wife. Of course, I'm getting dry throat. Why wouldn't I? It sets up his wife and doesn't execute it. You have hints of her, but never really comes to fruition until the ending of the bloody film. Michael Keaton's great. It's Beetlejuice. I mean, it's the best part of the whole film. I didn't like the rest of the cast, even when all the writers' character got really pushed to the side. General Tega, or however you pronounce her name, she's okay, but it was such a disappointing film for a sequel after all these years. It's forgettable. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, I've said to death on this whole trilogy on why I love it. Jim Carrey is Robotnik, and all the concepts they bring in from the Sonic film or games. Um, all three films are great. All right, so 2024 Deadpool and Wolverine is number one. Long Legs is last, worst of the year. And finally, we got this year, 2025. All right, best of the year is going to be Formula One. Worst of the year, that's a tough one. Worst of the year, there's a couple of candidates. I'm going to put Tron Ares. So Formula One with Brad Pitt, fantastic racing movie. Maybe not an original in concept because they've had racing movies like it in the past, like Stallone's Driven. But I thought that the characters were great. I thought the racing sequences were fantastic. I thought all around the humor was well placed and solid racing movie. Fantastic. Tron Ares is at worst of the year because it pisses me off. It never should have existed. Never should have been made. I hate the fact that they bring the again one of those things where they bring like the fantastical world into reality. Fuck that. I hate that shit when they do that. I can't stand it. Once again, Jared Leto is a waste of an actor in this fucking film. Like, I don't like him. It's either like the writing of his characters in the films he is in. He just sucks. Like, I didn't like him as a Joker. I didn't like him in Blade Runner 2049, and I don't like him in Tron Ares. He's like such a waste of a. You could have had anyone cast in that role, to be honest. Um, he's just wouldn't. I will say for his Joker, like he brought some animated Joker to that role. I will give him that. But the rest of his roles just I don't again, I don't know if it's him or if it's the writing of the film he's in. It just doesn't work. Hated Tron Ares. I'm sticking with the first two Tron films. They were the only Tron films, and this third film never should have been made in any concept whatsoever by Disney because I knew that they would fuck it up, and they did. All right, moving on. Predator Badlands, I was surprised on enjoying it. It's PG. There are elements that are Disneyisms thrown in there in Predator Badlands, but overall, I thought it was an entertaining adventure film. Um, from the Predator's perspective, I do believe, and I agree with a lot of people, that Predator is a rated R franchise and should be rated R. But I do like where they're going with it. The Predator Kill of Killers. I know I should have put it on here, but I didn't. Um, that because that would be surprise, surprise. Prey and this film, I do like the concepts and the direction that they're taking the franchise. For me personally, I think it's really cool and all these different elements. So Predator Badlands was a good surprise. Weapons was close to being best of the year by that much. Where am I? Right there? That much. Solid horror film. I wasn't a fan of the ending, but the whole film up to that point was great. Acting was great. Intrigue was great. Suspense was great. The concept was really interesting. Love how it starts. You know, um, very, very solid horror film. And probably not since, I would say, The Babadook, I think would be the last sort of indie film. Um, as an indie film really caught my attention. Weapons is great. I hope they don't screw it up by making a sequel because it doesn't need one. Solid film. Happy Gilmore 2. Now this is going to get a controversy. I didn't mind it. I didn't love it. I think the first half of the film sucks. Like the plot, the all that. Once he gets into the golfing part and all that, picks it right up. Okay, the cameos could have been done without, especially with Eminem. And it felt like those cameos were just like, "Hey, I'm a friend of yours. Be in my movie." The second half was entertaining enough with the golf stuff, but the first half sucks. So that ends up in surprise, surprise. Not a great sequel by any means, but a lot of people just downright thought it was the worst movie of the year. No, it is not for my personal. I get it. Why people are mad at it. I get it. Because the first Happy Gilmore was such a classic. It is a classic. So, The Naked Gun was a big surprise for me. Liam Neeson was a perfect cast as the son Drebin, Frank Drebin. Um, but the comedy, they actually stuck with the old style where it was comedy based on situations. There are a lot of funny moments in there. Um, and I appreciate that. I appreciate how they didn't just dumb down the humor like most spoof movies over the past decade or so. I like how they kind of stuck with the old sort of spoof humor, and I think we need to really get back to that kind of humor because it's sorely missed. Spaceballs 2 is coming out, I think, next year, and I'm anticipating that, but I'm reserved a little bit because, like, when they bring back a sequel from a long forgotten movie or whatever, it's kind of like nowadays you kind of have to step back and kind of like, I'm skeptical, but with the Naked Gun, I was actually surprised and happily surprised that it was quite humorous. So, my boy Superman, I'm gonna have to put in you and disappointing, man. Um, I don't know where I ranked these. I can't remember where I ranked these in my 2025 tier list, my movie tier list. I forget. But I've watched Superman a couple times now, and each time I watch it, pisses me off because of the plot, because of the writing. Um, Again, David Cornsweet, I will say this, he does a fantastic job as Superman. He is the best part of the movie. He's got the look, he's got the suit. Awesome. I'm a Superman guy. I grew up with Superman, and I will watch every Superman movie that's come out, good or bad. I will watch Superman Man tomorrow, despite what I think of the first film here. It's just that I don't understand why James Gunn and whoever wrote this, why they had to really screw up the plot with his origin stuff. It's uncalled for. Um, I didn't like the fact that that the plot device that sets him up for being arrested is so dumb. I love in Man of Steel where Superman gives himself up willingly just to show the humans on kind of who he is and everything. And I believe Lois Lane was interviewing him when he's in the room and everything. It's been a while since I saw it, but like just comparison's sakes, Man of Steel rocks way up there. Film and film, okay? Christopher Reeve will always be my number one Superman. Uh, David Cornsweet is pretty close. I think he does a fantastic job as Superman as a whole. And then Henry Cavill, of course, is very close. There's a tie for second place. But I wish the movie itself would have been a lot better. It just, I just can't really watch it again for a while because it's pissed me off. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Jurassic Park Rebirth. Want to stop with these Jurassic Park, Jurassic World films. Seriously, they're just nothing more than a cash cow for the company. Throw a couple of dinosaurs on the big screen at this point, and it feels like a fucking VOD film. Scarlett Johansson's in there. She looks pretty, but there was too many stupid things in it. I think the film would have benefited from not having a family bunch of characters, bunch of family characters. I think they should have stripped that all out, and I think that Rebirth would have been a little bit better. Just have the typical mercenary concept like they kind of had in Jurassic Park 3, which was dog shit. But at least if they did that in Rebirth, I think it would have been tolerable. I just think that these Jurassic World, Jurassic Park films have run their course and should sleep for a while. Thunderbolts was. I hated the characters, and usually MCU films uh, that's the problem they've been having is they don't write these characters properly anymore, and they just throw them in there. I hated Thunderbolts in the fact that the best character is in there for like 5 minutes. I mean, possible best character, I should say. I don't like the fact of the way they utilize Sentry in this movie. Um, but the main problem was the quote unquote heroes were shit. That I didn't care for any of them, especially Captain Agent or whatever the fuck his name is. Like he was one of the worst in the bunch. Then you have Black Widow's sister, whatever the hell her name is. She's basically the leader of this group, and it's like her character's boring as hell. So no, Thunderbolts was a waste of time. So Captain America: Brave New World, another MCU piece of shit. Yeah, it had the Red Hulk in there, and yeah, okay, the fight was fine. But Harrison Ford in an MCU film looks so damn weird. They could have cast anybody in Ross's role. Seriously. The plot was stupid. They had the hell is that villain's name? The brain. It's a Hulk villain. Damn, like half asleep here. It's not Brainiac. It's shit. Anyway, yeah. I think Mackie, that's the actor's name who plays the Falcon's fine. Like I've liked him as the Falcon. I like him in that role. I think he's fine. It's just the rest of the movies and characters that he's surrounded by are it's garbage. Okay. Uh, it was nice seeing a cameo from Bucky. I'll give him that. But Brave New World, I would rather watch Brave New World over Thunderbolts if I had to choose. But still a shit MCU movie. Um, so yeah. And Snow White, what can you say about Snow White? It I watched the thing and I went into the film with and probably my 2025 list like I'll have different opinions now because I've gone and rewatched all these uh maybe I'd have to go back and look at it myself but going into a movie where you have the low expectation doesn't help. The dwarves should have been human. I swear to God. They were the worst part of the entire film, other than Gal Gadot as the evil witch. Uh, why the hell didn't they get real human beings for the dwarf roles? It could have been that simple. And Gal Gadot as the witch, I'm sorry, her role sucked. She was miscast. Did not like her at all in that role. And the best part of this movie was the actress playing Snow White. She had the look. She had the voice. She had the maneuvers. Like, she was the best part of the film. I don't care, like, all the media and all that and seeing kind of what she says and this and that, but honestly, she was the best part of the Snow White film. In a film that everything around her sucked. But they had the dress, they had the voice, she had the movements. It's too bad, you know. I would put Lilo and Stitch on here because that was probably the most memorable outside of Formula One I've seen all year. But I think that's the problem. One problem with Disney is their live remakes have to stop. They've, they're they're just even I was as I was watching Lilo and Stitch. It's a good remake, but again, it's a remake. Um, it was cool they got the voice actor back to play Stitch. That was awesome. Uh, but like I remember when Disney used to come out with like new IPs and try stuff, and yeah, they can't do that anymore because it's corporate driven, right? Anyway, enough of that. In 2025, Formula One, best movie of the year, worst movie of the year was Tron Ares. Um, like I said, not all the movies were put on all these lists there because that would take a dog's age to get through. I mean, I'm under 2 hours. I'm at 138 to do all these years, which is not bad. But let me know in the comments on your favorite movies of these years and what you thought was the worst movie of these years. I'd be interested to know in your comments there. And anyway, I just thought I'd do something different with the tier list for kind of wrapping up this year in terms of tier lists. Um, so uh, happy holidays once again there, and it's Boxing Day today, and maybe you're out shopping. Got Christmas money. I got a little bit of Christmas money, but I'm saving it for food because it's food. Um, by the way, I got a new headset for Christmas there. It's the same color as my old one, but a little tight with the headpiece here. But it's solid. Uh, it's pretty good. And I always like the when they have like the volume on the cord here, and they have like a mute button on the bottom. It's pretty cool. So, um, anyway, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and hope you enjoyed this video.